All right, Coach, over the weekend, the Fall World Series, the red-white big series over at Eastwood Field kind of wrapped up the fall season. Just maybe give a recap about how the World Series went. I know Red won 2-0, but, maybe an MVP, who did well, things like that.
Yeah, I was very pleased. I thought the games were well played, well pitched. Game one was a battle. I mean, it was a 3-2 game to the last inning, 2 outs. And we had a 2-out walk, then a base hit, and Greg Kubo hit a double down left field line and scored Drew Dosh from first, and capped off a well played game from both teams. Good defense, pitching, and overall that was a good game. The second game was 0-0 to the top of the last inning, and the red team scored 2 and closed it out in the bottom half, and so just very well played. A lot of good on the offensive end, productive outs. We were aggressive on the base pads, which I was very pleased with. How the fall has progressed that way. But also, taking it to another level by tagging from first on some deep fly balls to center, and a tough play for third baseman going down foul territory down the line, and we got a guy tagging up from first going to second. So, a lot of positives in all aspects of the games.
Now you've had a couple days to reflect in the fall overall. Just maybe talk about what areas you saw the most progress in, and the most encouraging signs.
Sure. On the position player end, early on in our games we had quite a few errors. We have a lot of young players that one, you're getting used to the speed of the game, how we're doing things as a program. So there are going to be some of those throwing errors or just different types of errors that happen in a game. That was more early on. That really was, I thought, a standout. When you do reflect back, you have 15 errors in the first probably 13, 14 games, and then you have 3 in the last 7 or 8 games. So and that was really, when you look at it, just not one team. That's 2 teams, so it's even more games, more innings going on where we are error free. On the offensive end, I felt that we progressed. The philosophy that we want to focus here was addressed early, addressed often, and as the fall progressed, you started to really see that happening in our games, whether they were productive outs, ground ball to second, fly ball, sac fly, whatever the case, bunts, sac bunts, safety squeezes, whatever, those types of things were executed, and that was very encouraging. On the pitching end, early on there were a lot of runs, a lot of hits, happening, but as the fall went, you started to see less and less hits, which, on the offensive end, you kind of, what are we doing here? But we did still have good approaches at the plate. Pitchers were stepping up. They were throwing more pitches for strikes. So right now, we were showing them, because we chart everything on the percentages that they're throwing strikes in their different pitches, whether it's curveball, slider, first pitch strikes, that kind of thing, and they were better, and we have it laid out game by game, and you can see the progression as we went along.
When the final game was over, what did you tell the guys that they need to work on between when everything was done and then the end of February when the first game gets here?
Well, I think we still got a long ways to go as far as just the consistency. I mean, we started to see that at the end, but that has to continue. I feel that this group of players are very coachable. They are, you can really see them working on what you want them to work on. The philosophy, our different are different BP rounds. Are more for game-like specific types of situations. You can see them working on that, them understanding, what's at stake at different situations. I really like the closeness of this team, right now, and as we went into the fall too, and I look forward to that staying that way as well. But more importantly, staying with that consistency that we saw the last 2 weeks. I would say that we have to take that into our individual work as we move into winter.
Building right off of what you just said, what is the schedule like between now and February? I know that with the semester break and all that kind of stuff, but what do you do between now and when the fall semester is over in December, and then right when you get back? Just what's
Right.
that gap filled with?
Well, right now, we start out with this week. We're meeting with each player individually, individual meetings, one-on-one meetings with the coaching staff and that particular player. We go over their academics. We go over weightlifting, how that's going, because this year they're being evaluated each time they're in the weight room. So we're going over that. We're going to go over their play on the field. Where they stand. Are they starting? Are they behind someone? What we need to continue to work on and what we're going to carry into next week. So that's going on this week. Next week we will have our individual workouts, working with 3-4 players at a time. That's on a position player end. And we're going to spend at least 2 sessions on the offensive end, and really breaking down everybody's swing. I want them, our plan this year is going to be similar to last, where we start with a wider base than normal, just so they can feel their lower half working. And you always want to start from the ground up when you're talking hitting. So that's what we're going to, and it worked last year. So hopefully, the same philosophy for winter workouts are the same. But we're going to work with that. Work a lot of middle, opposite field that way offensively, and then we're going to have days of defense. We're trying to get out, on the football field turf if there isn't any snow, but we should be good that way, and just getting reps, continuing to work reps on there. What I like what Coach Lipari's doing with the pitchers is, he's not going to just lump all the pitchers into, okay, this week we're going to do these drills. It's going to be specific for each particular pitcher. He's grouped the pitchers by, in partners paired up, and compared to, what each pitcher needs. So if, 2 pitchers need to work on good extension, those 2 guys are going to be together and work specifically, that way. We're going to do a lot of, videotaping. Videotape doesn't lie. We want them all in all positions, pitchers and hitters, and infield, outfield. We want them to see what they're doing. Go over that. That takes us right up until they leave for Christmas break. And the one thing that we started last year with the pitchers is the pitchers will get a booklet on, everything that, every day that they're gone. All they have to do is wake up and look at their book and say, okay, I have this for today. And so that's very different than maybe some other programs or what have you, because our break's so long. It's very long. So we want to make sure that, they're getting a specific schedule on staying up with their bullpens, long toss, conditioning, whatever. Everyone will receive conditioning, strength conditioning for the break, and hitters just continue hitting, and we'll get after it in January when they get back.
World Series prediction starts tonight.
Texas.
How many games?
Well, I'm going to say possibly 6, but I'd like 7 just to drag it out. And I don't think it's going to be a drag out. I mean, just to have more baseball as we go forward into winter.